Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I told you there was another video coming and here it is. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Today we took a day trip from Amsterdam to Brussels and we did book this through Viator. I was actually a little bit disappointed because it was advertised as a private sightseeing trip to Brussels. But really, it was more of just a private chauffeur. At best, he parked and pointed us in the right direction and took a handful of photos, and that was it. So, if you're looking to gain a lot of information from this tour, I would not recommend this. If you're wanting someone just to drive you around and give you general directions, then this is for you. Our first stop was the Atomium, and I may be pronouncing that wrong. But anyways, it was a really cool stop, and it's a place I'd never heard of before, and we never would have gone to it had our driver not taken us there. But being that this was a private tour, it was kind of strange that we still had to stand in line and buy tickets. And not only did we have to do that, but the line was so long to get the tickets, we actually downloaded an app and bought it on our phone instead and got through it quicker that way. But once we were inside, it gives you a lot of history behind why this statue building was constructed, the purpose of it. There's lots of history inside of it, just about this area. And also there's tons of light shows and kind of like a music playing in the background. And it's a really neat experience. They take a professional photo for you when you're entering. There's tons of places to stop and eat when you're coming out. There's plenty of places inside to even sit down and just enjoy the moment. But it wasn't something that if you miss, it would be earth shattering. Once we were finished here, we headed to a church. And again, none of these stops were really predetermined. We didn't know where we were headed from one stop to the next. And this one kind of got strange because this church is known as a famous burial site. And I gathered that from a sign that was outside the church. And our driver actually told us that we could go inside and look around because it was such a famous church. They were holding a funeral there, and the guy was like, it doesn't matter, just go inside anyways. I felt like that was a little rude. So we didn't go inside, and it was a beautiful church, and the architecture was amazing. But I didn't feel like it was appropriate. So we just kind of did a quick lap around the church and went back to our driver and we're like, no, we're not really comfortable going inside. From here, our driver took us to what he called a castle. I'm pretty sure it was a castle, but I'm not 100% sure that's factual because, again, it was barricaded off and we could only see what everyone else could see from the street. There was work being done on the building and he told us just to walk around and enjoy the site. But there wasn't that much to see. So we walked around and we stumbled across this interesting store that had like ruins. So we ended up buying tickets and going into these ruins. And there was a little bit more history there about a castle. So I'm pretty sure our driver was correct that we were looking at a castle and now we were walking under the castle. But it was eerily empty and it was really inexpensive to get into. But it was a neat little area to spend like 20 or 30 minutes walking around and definitely better than just looking at the front door of a castle for half an hour. From here, we decided we were just going to ask our driver where we were headed versus just being signed up for who knows what. And he told us he was going to take us to go see another famous church. But honestly, it may have been famous, but not famous enough that either of us knew what it was. So instead, we saw this really interesting park. We got some ice cream and it was so comical. The park itself is based off of some comic book and there's all these different statues and most of them are of this comic book cartoon, but then there actually are older statues there as well. And there's tons of people here. It's a beautiful park. Honestly, I think I enjoy the park more than any other part of the day. It was a nice area. It was a beautiful day. There's plenty of shade. And I think for us, at least, it was better to go to this park than to go to another church, especially if there was a possibility of there being a funeral there. After spending about an hour in this park, we headed to what I would call a European town square. It was gorgeous. And there were so many shopping opportunities and so many lunch opportunities. So we walked around, we visited all these fun shops, saw tons of like dessert options. We ate a nice lunch and just got to really see like the downtown area of Brussels. And this was such a cute little area. And I know I said that, but I really can't overstate that. The architecture was beautiful, but even the culture there was really nice and welcoming. The restaurants were full, so if you do plan on eating there, make sure you give yourself enough time. After we walked around this area and did our shopping, we headed back to our driver. And again, Viator failed us because our driver gave us a very specific time and we were standing around waiting for at least 15 minutes for our driver. But I would suggest, if you're spending an entire week in Amsterdam, to head to Brussels. Either make your own itinerary if you're going to go, or just understand that if you're booking through Viator, you are not paying for a true tour of Brussels. You are only paying for a driver. So if you go in there with that mindset, you'll have a great time. So I appreciate you for coming back and watching another one of our videos. And I said it in the beginning, but I am going to say it again. Please hit the like and subscribe button.